with the Extra Point. This is Erik McKinney, joined by Greg Katz. Greg, signing day in the books. Your sort of a plot point, your overriding big takeaway from this 2021 class for the USC Trojans.
Big rebound from the disaster the year before. The year before they could have recruited 12 guys. I mean, Lane Kiffin did it that one year when he had a limited amount because of NCAA sanctions, and he recruited a very good class. It wasn't a matter of quantity; it was a matter of quality. Last year, I would have to say it didn't reek initially of quality when it comes to the offensive linemen, which was their need. But focusing in on what your question was just for this particular recruiting year, I think they obviously deserve top 10 nationally ranked. They've got the cachet. They've got the number one recruit in the country. They've got a great linebacker that signed, on signing day, and Rashawn Davis. The defensive backs are all excellent prospects. A lot of athletes. I mean, I don't think you could argue about the quarterback situation. You got the Max Prep National Prep Player of the Year in Jackson Dart, and he's going to compete with with Miller Moss. There's so many reasons to be excited about this class. They tossed in an offensive lineman there to because they had an opportunity to do so. I think what this class really does is put a major spotlight on the offensive recruiting for next year. I know that SC led off with a great recruit out of Mater Dei. Okay. As a defensive back. Okay, great. But they really have to show that they are going to get those offensive linemen, and they're not going to be 3 stars. They're going to be 4 and 5. They have an opportunity to do it, I think, because this class, the one that just signed here, completed on Wednesday, is so nationally recognized and creates so much momentum. And they do have a new offensive line coach, and you can argue that was probably not one of the strong suits as far as recruiting under Tim Drevno. I think he's an excellent coach. Obviously sent 2 guys, probably first-round draft picks in the last 2 years. If Elijah Bear Tucker goes first round. But this is going to be a real test on the offensive side. They don't have to worry about quarterbacks. They've got them. I mean, they could go for another one. Wide receivers. Okay. We don't know if Graham Harrell is going to be here following next year for whatever reason. So would the air raid still be, the drink of the day? But that's irrelevant because I think no matter what direction they would go, you still need great offensive linemen. And there is no reason not for SC not to get great offensive linemen. So what I will say is this class was so good for what they needed and what they wanted and what they went after. And it could, let's face it, if the kid from Washington in April pulls a surprise, and I'll leave it to you to pronounce his last name. I know it's JT, but from the Seattle area, I guess, if he actually signed, they might have a top 5 recruiting class. It's conceivable. But I think that this particular class really gives them great momentum going into next year. And, obviously what happens on the field is going to have a great deal to do with it too. But for where they are today, this class is both thumbs up, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you in that it makes me look back a ways, and it's not quite to where those classes are when they were just rolling through top 3, top 5 recruiting classes. But boy, is it reminiscent of kind of what what USC was doing when it was doing that. You have a great defensive end right in your backyard, and you get him when it looks like for a long time during that recruiting cycle, you weren't going to end up with Corey Foreman. You do get him, and that's big, and that's what USC has to do. Adding Rajon Davis, the defensive back class that's all in California, and all guys were at the very beginning of the cycle. You go down the list, and it's we want this guy, we want this guy, we want this guy, and you end up with just about all of them, if not all of them. That is what USC needs to do. And then again, reminiscent of those classes, you go all the way out to Florida and you get Michael Trigg. You go up to Washington and you get Julian Simon. You go to Utah and you get Jackson Dart. That's USC recruiting the way a lot of people remember USC recruiting. I think again, you mentioned the offensive line, you take that up a notch, and they'll have a chance to do that in 2022. But some pieces there again coming in with some intriguing guys in that class. So again, it's looking back and seeing, okay, this is what it looks like. USC can do this, and it was a quick the 1 year dip, and you're back to kind of what you expect here. And I think it does. You get enough guys in that have a real impact on that 2022 class, the 2023 class, because they're name brand guys. You know, a Jackson Dart in Utah, he carries a lot of water. Corey Foreman nationally, everybody knows who Corey Foreman is. So I'm with you on a lot of that. I think this is if you're climbing that ladder up to the Pac-12, or if USC eventually is challenging, you know, Pac-12 titles, national titles again, this is a real bullet point class. I think when you look back, you say, okay, this might be one of the big sort of factors that leads to that. So a great class for USC. It's probably not Alabama and some of the Ohio State classes that we've seen, but you're starting to see signs of getting back there. And after that 2020 class, again, yes, limited numbers, but the way it was spoken about nationally, this is really what USC needed to do, and those coaches went out and got it done. So a really good day for USC, and to cap off a really good 2021 signing class for the Trojans.